I was just saying, I've got a little bit of a cold, and then also
You got
also
Morrow,
the
you
Heath
got
Johnston game Saturday.
Brian,
The officials
Doug, and
did.
Dick.
Dick,
No, we are
you're looking at it. I'm the only one, but Brian's gonna be here in 15 minutes.
All the council members, so.
You ain't gonna take any action or anything, go ahead and get
No legislative request.
I don't have any.
information, we'll just,
We're not spending any money here tonight, so that's great, right?
okay.
You wait till next month. Shall I? Oh,
In 2
it's
seconds.
not even 5:30.
2 seconds.
You get worried about
Boom.
nothing then.
I'm on.
All right.
For December 2013, calls for service 1,177, 139 offense reports, 60 arrests, 40 accidents, 77 citations, and I've got previous years back to 2008. Went ahead and totaled everything for 2013, and this should bear out when we do our annual report, but if we stay at 18,177 calls for service, that is the highest in my 10 years here.
Wow.
Hey, how many you say?
18,177. At a few years ago, hit 17,000 something. And 1,799 offense reports, arrests 613, accidents 397. I think I mentioned the council, but that's the lowest, I think, in 10 years. And
The accident.
So the safety improvements are
on
79. Or
yeah, the numbers were in the 600 when I first started.
How about these other numbers? Are they trending upward? Offense reports? Are they any other records here?
About the same.
They're everything else is about the same. It's about average.
60 arrests for this past December. It's quite a bit more.
Yeah, that's a little.
A lot of shoplifting and things
Sure.
like that during the holidays.
Yeah, and I've got to say, and I sent the police department a copy. Everybody in the police department a copy. I meant to send you, and I think I forgot you, Mayor. We've been having a lot of trouble with car break-ins over the weekend. We had 2 arrests. One guy was breaking into cars, going behind houses over around Putnam, checking doors, rear doors, see if they were locked or not. They got him. Got a guy over here at Tri-County. He peeled the column on a couple of cars, and they caught him. And
That's not very smart. That's not far for us to travel.
no, as a matter of fact, one of the officers did the smart thing and walked. And the guy at Tri-County had license plates from the steering or the alignment center down here, and I know Sergeant Black went down to question him in jail. He may be responsible for some of our auto thefts along 79. So anyway, they did a bang-up job, catching a couple of people breaking into cars. Overtime usage for December 2013 was 9,880, and for the year total, 132,164. And so we I don't know how we did it.
Why was last year unavailable?
I don't remember. I probably could have got it if I went over and pestered Debbie.
Okay.
I mean, with the calls for service trending up and then the overtime trending down, I told them at our annual meeting, I don't know how we did it, but we did.
Yeah.
Hey, Chief, on your calls for service, is that like someone calls in and you send an officer out or whatever, no matter what it is, or something happens and the officer responds? Or something? Now, what if like two cars show up? Is that still just one call at that wreck or
Yes.
or whatever, stuff like that? Okay.
But it also includes officer initiated activity.
Oh, okay. So like if they pull somebody over or
Mhm.
whatever, that counts
Right.
as a call. Okay. I was just trying to see the calls.
I'm not sure if mutual aid you have. That would just- your-
Oh, little to none.
Very little.
Both ways,
Mm-hmm.
giving and getting. not
Yeah,
much.
we get asked from time to time, probably as much as we've asked them. Them being our neighboring agencies.
1% of the total calls might be, if you get 200 calls in a year, you're lucky.
Yeah, and I think probably half of that.
Less than 100.
Yeah, that's a guess. I don't have numbers in front of
That's
me.
all I'm asking.
If a chase starts in Heath and ends up in Newark, or starts in Newark and ends up in Heath, or what, you know what I mean? You're trying to get someone. Does the department that started it finish up the paperwork, or whoever actually stops the person do it, or how do you do that kind of a situation?
Yeah, it's whoever initiated the pursuit typically makes the arrest.
No matter who actually
Right.
stops the car or whatever.
Right.
Whether it be the highway patrol or sheriff's police,
Yeah.
Newark, whatever, you know, if you're
Right.
chasing around 79 or whatever.
It doesn't preclude us from, if we're behind the chase car, counting traffic lights, and no turn signals,
So
we
we
call
file
in,
charges
when we're chasing somebody, we'll call in traffic violations
As
during the
you're going.
pursuit, so it's, log that they ran a stop sign, they passed a car in a no passing zone. It's probably not worth the effort, but we'll throw everything at them. Yeah. We'll charge them with everything, plus the actual fleeing and eluding.
How's the plate reading information technology good? Does that help this a lot too?
Not a lot. I wouldn't say a lot. It's been very helpful, and we've had success stories, but doesn't set the world on fire. But remember, it's only in 2 cars, and those 2 cars aren't driven 24/7.
One of the cars that it was in the one that was involved in the accident that got totaled.
Mm-hmm. Right after we install them.
And haven't we had some technical difficulties with that system?
We have, and most of it is got to do with our wireless connectivity, and the manufacturers of the modems are starting to, come up with these Super Duty switchers, air card, or they're not air cards, they're modules that I think do a little better job of receiving and transmitting. We hit so many dead spots. As soon as you pull out, you've probably heard the officers talk about it. As soon as you pull out, we'll lose our 4G signal, and we only work the video as far as the live cast is only as good as the 4G signal. That's all I have.
Dodge navigation.
Got one question from the audience.
Oh, okay.
Now, what was going on up by me the other night? There's 2 or 3 nights ago.
I don't know, what were you doing?
I don't know. The dogs were barking, and there was a patrol car out there.
That was,
I didn't see, but
was that Friday night, early Saturday morning?
could have been.
Yeah, they, the officer was working special duty at Giant Eagle and was watching a guy go through cars out in the parking lot. So we called a patrol car in, and he walked to the back. He had his car parked behind Giant Eagle, and then the officer stopped him and then took off running. And we caught him back in there somewhere. That was another. I said we arrested a couple of people breaking in, but that was the other one. That was all this past weekend. That guy was out of prison on parole. So
Oh, boy.
yeah.
That's wrong.
How's the block watch program in South Cape? Any,
It's not making noise. It's still functioning, according to Sergeant Reed. So, again, I don't have any data. When we do our annual report, we might be able to extract, some select geographical areas.
Did they find the food trailer that was in the paper?
No, that's probably went to a
Long
chop
gone.
shop or something.
Chopped up.
It's probably the guy that did Tri-County. Yeah, and the guy we caught at Tri-County had a list of cars in his wallet, so I think he was
Are the ones that probably were.
probably, he was shopping before.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And generally, that's a chop shop. When he gets,
the wish list.
yeah.
Christmas time.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it, where was it from? There?
It's from,
That's why I went to the dealer.
Yeah.
from Newark.
904-699, the service returning.
Okay.
Shopping.
Start,
Yeah.
start the fire at 5:42.
Okay. Good evening. Happy New Year. Council meeting. Let's see,
You feeling better?
Statistics, I'm sorry?
You feeling better?
Yes, sir, I am, Jackie.
Oh, don't say it.
Yeah, she's a healthy little thing anyway. She was sick and
Oh,
kicked her little guts up for a couple days at home over the weekend, so
no.
I played nursemaid.
Technical.
What, kick your guts up? Oh, yeah. Yep, toenails. If you haven't had it, you will, because it's certainly going around town, that's for sure. A lot of Montezuma's revenge. December statistics, 2012 versus 2013, we were down 25 fire calls from the previous year, but we still finished up with 437. EMS calls, we were up 115 over 2012 statistics at 1,956. Transports, we were down 54 at 1,063. And that number on your sheets needs to be changed to 1,063. I think you have 1,050.
The year-to-date transport total,
Yes,
what is the number again?
it is 1,063, Mayor.
Okay, thanks.
That was end of the year. I checked with MedBill, checked my statistics against theirs.
Okay.
So 1,063 for combined totals, up 90 runs over this time last year at 2,393 calls, which is another, we've increased, what was it, about 3%. over the last several years. Continue. Terry Hughes and I were just, I can remember when 600 calls combined a year was a lot. We were just reminiscing how the rents have increased. But some of these are where we're getting activated by New York City or whoever, and then getting canceled. So, I mean, that's without me going back, as I said, and researching and finding out exactly the total time involved. I'm just basing this on run reports I received from the county. Mutual aids, 27 received. We gave 27 and we received 26, so pretty well balanced. See, the majority of everything is still going to New York City. I reported on the garage fire before. No legislative requests. Monthly expense reports. As you can see, the big issue, salaries and things are usually about the same. The overtime was for December was $20,789 this year, and total this year versus last year we were down $49,473.39 less than what we spent last year. So that was significant.
49.
473.39. I mentioned before the MSA, which is mine safety, the self-contained breathing apparatus federal grants that we got. We're still waiting, and it's going to be into the next year before the testing company that certifies all these masks, and this is multiple manufacturers, use the wrong testing, and so they actually are making them retest everything, and it could be June before we'll receive those air packs. So we just hope it has no impact on the federal grant. We should be able to get an extension, and since it's a national issue, Ron Worth is keeping me informed, but there's just no new information on that. They're supposed to start retesting everything in April. Medic 9 was delivered today over to Columbus. It's got a torn boot between the box and the cab, so it's leaking water in.
Oh, when it rains.
Yeah, when it rains, that's kind of unusual. And Cos and I were told that if it's mounts, they change the way they configure that setting or whatever, it'll be a freebie. If the box mounts are mashed down or whatever, allowed it to tear, so we can only hope. Medic 9's the unit that we've had a lot of issues with, it just seems like this year, and a lot of it's been primarily an international issue with engine injectors, a lot of sensing devices. I'm going to order a couple new air monitors. We ordered 2 last year. I'm going to get a couple more of those. Are running about $700 a piece. I'll probably order one that's a little more expensive than that. It's got a pump built in. We're
What do those
slowly
do,
replacing-
Chief?
I'm sorry.
What do those do?
They're
Other than monitor the air, right?
monitor the air. We use them there for anytime we go out for a natural gas leak, a carbon monoxide leak. It monitors the air if we get into a confined space situation or any kind of sewer gas.
Okay.
Air monitoring that we get quite a few calls a year for, specifically monoxide, but before we go to a confined space.
I got you.
We're required to monitor air. Spellman is having neck surgery scheduled the day after tomorrow. Continue that. Yes. That's a good day. Not because he's having surgery. No, I don't know. So he could be off several months. Under training, continued online training, it didn't have anything major to give you a report on right now, other than I experimented with the Cleveland State online training, and I felt I bought it myself and thought it was a pretty good, for $20, we're paying, I don't know, 40 to 50 a person, and for $20 you get fire and fire inspection. It's just a better program in my opinion. So we may even venture into using that department-wide, but that or a tag along on the other. You can get all of your continuing education hours there online with the computer. And of course, we still bring in, for the specialty classes, bring in area back or whoever we need to. We have nothing scheduled right now other than February. We're going to go up to Boeing and do a confined space rescue training class with Cleveland State. EMS gear was purchased with that donation from the Shriners, about $6,900 in stuff. I've mentioned that a couple times. We just received that equipment, and it should be in service as we speak on the units. Broslow bags and 2 pediatric rescue cushions that conform to a small child. Kind of use it as a backboard, and any they're injured in a fall or whatever, it just kind of wraps and forms a almost plaster cast type. Reminds you of a beanbag chair that you pull air out of, and it gets rigid and stabilizes them in whatever position. Yes, that was for 2 pediatrics. And the Broslow bags are bag specific. We have a device called Broslow tape that stretches out, and by just laying a child on the tape, everything is laid out based on color coded, but a child of this size, these are the drug dosages you give it if it needs medicated, what size ET tubes. I mean, it spells it out. It's a very rapid way of treatment or whatever, but I think they were about $1,900 a bag. But we were able, with this grant from the Shriners Club, to buy one for each one of the many units. So it's always nice to, free is fun. So we do appreciate that from the Shriners. The medic seat cushions in Medic 8 and 9 are bad breaking down. They're so anyway, I've got a PO written, and we're gonna start pulling those out and have reliable upholstery rebuild and replace the covers on them. The squads look a lot better than the seats do. They got a lot of butts sitting on them, so we'll just keep after them. Hose cover on engine 1's I've got, what is it, Mound City awning that's gonna be replacing. I'm sorry?
Mound City products.
Yes. Products instead of awnings, they're just 2 awnings. But yeah, while we had him in there replacing the front awning on the station, he was looking at them and he's like, I can do you a pretty good job on those, and they're pretty tattered. We've had to rebuild a couple.
Those are the flaps that.
The flaps that cover the entire hose bed keeps the dust, dirt, weather off of the hose, and yes, sir. So we'll replace those throughout the year.
Cheaper to replace than repair.
Well, we've replaced, but yeah, they take a beating in the summertime and all, and eventually they go bad, just like anything else. We can sit out the sun and such.
Is that Ted Handle?
I'm sorry?
Ted Handle, Mound City?
Yeah.
Is that the name of his
Yes,
CEO?
yeah.
Ted Handle.
I mentioned AEDs here. We currently carry a heart monitor on the rescue, heart monitor defibrillator, but it is an old unit that we had, and it needs to come off. We're going to purchase a couple of AEDs. We'll use our EMS billing, or excuse me, I always say that, our EMS grant money there that we get every year, about $2,500 worth. We're going to buy 2 AEDs. We're going to put one on the rescue, so we do have a defibrillation device on there. We don't have to get fancy, and the other one will go in 7. Of course, I've got one I carry in my truck also, and it's been used successfully twice. So that'll just give us on a fire scene and such, because sometimes, I'm sorry, there, you can get them around $1,400 a piece now. So we'll have a grant for about $2,500 from Division of EMS this year. So between that and what a little bit of extra budgeted money, I'll buy 2 of them. We'll put them in service sometime later this year. I have that effect on it.
Can you shoot that damn thing?
Probably good.
Hey, Chief, we have that AED here over in the copy room. But I would venture to guess we have a lot of staff on this side of the building who have not been trained on how to use it. Can you make arrangements to provide the staff with training on that here in the near future?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We can make that happen. Just do, half at a time, something like that. I know
Something
you
like
can't.
Something like that would be
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, because I still owe council, we can do that some evening after safety committee or however you want to do it, but we're on a weekend. I'm sure you'd like to take half a day out of your weekend.
You'd have to tell me when the weekend is.
Well, that usually follows Friday.
Every day's Friday.
And just, it's the same old company we've dealt with, the new turnout gear vendor, which is Fire Safety Service, and that's the people we're buying the MSA air packs from. But Fire Safety Service. And comparable turnout gear that we purchase several sets a year and have a rotation plan, but we can save about $300 a set by going with them, and so we're gonna give them a try and save a little bit of money in them. So, other than that, hi Brian.
Sorry. Are we ready to adjourn?
We are ready.
Brian's showing up on
Does anybody have any questions? That's all I have.
That can't be possible.
Yes.
We did it.
Thanks for coming, appreciate it.
Hey, Tim, you got time to wait for a check? For an IOU?
You can owe me next month, next week.
When's the draw?
Please, thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a week for
Always
Wednesday.
great. I just had a last minute.
You can pay me next Monday in time for then, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the
But
school
you're
board,
going
so I have to take off.
Nothing in
Your what?
lease steps.
Go to the school board meeting.
I'm not ready to give you an end of the year.
See you at the
report.
basketball game.
We won't get one. We'll break down statistics. I have nothing else.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're all right, Brian.
Sorry, everybody.
There's your goal
Glad
next
you got
month.
seats.
57.
Me too. That's why I come here. Said I beat, he said, yeah, glad you got this. I said, beat you, that's why I come here.
Exciting the last few days.
Oh, the weekend was, yeah.
What is that, 30 minutes?
Take it easy.